Once upon a time, in a quiet village called Umuaka, the sky turned red and gold every evening, and the birds sang sweet songs in the trees. The village was full of life, drums, laughter, and the smell of firewood cooking delicious food. In this peaceful village, a woman named Ngozi was about to have her first baby. She and her husband, Obina, had waited many years to have a child. When Ngozi finally got pregnant, the whole village celebrated with dancing and singing. But something strange happened. Most women carry their babies for 9 months, but Ngozi's belly kept growing and growing for 11 full months. The women in the village started to whisper, "Is this baby a spirit child? Why is it not coming out? Something is not right." Even Ngozi was afraid. Then, on a stormy night, when the rain poured like a waterfall and lightning danced in the sky, Ngozi cried out, "It is time! The baby is coming!" Her husband ran to fetch Mazichika, the village midwife. Mazichika was old and wise. She had helped many babies into the world, but she had never seen anything like this. Inside their small mud house, lit by a tiny oil lamp, Ngozi pushed and screamed. The thunder outside was loud, but the baby's cry was louder. "It's a girl!" Mazichika shouted. Obina smiled wide, tears in his eyes. "My daughter," he whispered. But then Mazichika looked again. Her smile slowly disappeared. She leaned close to Ngozi and whispered, "Ngozi, this child has both." "Both what?" Ngozi asked, her face tired and wet with sweat. "She has both male and female private parts." Ngozi's eyes grew wide. Obina stepped back, confused and scared. They had never heard of anything like this before. "Please," Ngozi begged Mazichika, "don't tell anyone. Promise us. This child must live. We will give you anything." Mazichika looked at the tiny baby in her arms. The child was beautiful, peaceful, as if nothing was wrong. "I promise," she said softly. "This child's secret will stay with me." And so, in the middle of a wild storm, a special baby was born in Umuaka, a baby that the world would never forget. They named her Chimamanda. Her name meant, "My God will not fail." Little did they know, Chimamanda's life would be filled with secrets, pain, beauty, and something no one in the village could ever imagine. Chimamanda was just a baby, but her presence brought a strange kind of silence to her parents' home. Ngozi, her mother, would often stare at her for hours, wondering what the future held. She loved her daughter deeply. There was no doubt about that, but something inside her was always trembling. Obina, the father, grew quieter each day. At night, he would sit outside, looking up at the stars. Sometimes, he whispered to the sky, "Why us? Why my daughter?" But there were no answers, only the sound of frogs croaking and crickets singing. To the rest of the village, Chimamanda was just a normal baby. A little quiet, maybe, always wrapped tightly in her cloth, even when the other babies were free to kick their legs in the sun. "She's delicate," Ngozi would say quickly whenever someone asked. Mazichika, the old midwife, came by once a week to check on Chimamanda. She always brought herbs and greeted Ngozi with soft eyes. "Keep her away from the other children for now," she advised. "Secrets are like fire. If left open, they can burn everything around them." Ngozi nodded each time. She understood. She didn't like it, but she understood. As months passed, Chimamanda grew stronger. She had beautiful, bright eyes and skin as smooth as ripe mango. She rarely cried. She only watched everything and everyone. Quietly. One day, Obina went to the stream to fetch water and overheard some village women talking. "That baby of Ngozi's, there's something not right. I've never seen her bathe outside like the rest of us do. And she doesn't go to the market either. They are hiding something." Obina gripped his calabash tighter. His heart began to beat faster. The whispers had started. He returned home and told Ngozi. She put her hand over her mouth and sat down slowly. "It's beginning," she whispered. "The village is curious." Obinna knelt beside her. "We must be careful. We'll say she's sickly and needs special care. No one must know." That evening, they wrapped Chimamanda even tighter. Ngozi held her close as she hummed an old lullaby. Her voice cracked once or twice. Outside, children played, their laughter filling the air. Chimamanda turned her head toward the sound, reaching out her tiny fingers. She wanted to join them, but she couldn't. Not yet. Not with the secret wrapped around her like her cloth. Chimamanda was now 4 years old. Other children her age ran freely, splashing in puddles after the rain and chasing lizards across the dusty ground. But not her. Ngozi kept her close, always watching, always covering. Chimamanda wore 2 wrappers even on hot days, one to hide, the other to confuse. "She likes to stay clean," Ngozi would say when asked why the girl never joined in the muddy games. But Chimamanda didn't feel clean. She felt like a puzzle. Something hidden in her made her mother whisper at night and her father stay quiet during meals. She once asked, "Mama, why do I wear 2 wrappers?" Ngozi smiled and brushed her daughter's hair. "Because you're precious, my child, and precious things must be covered." Chimamanda didn't understand, but she nodded. Mazi Chika came again with herbs and blessings. "Keep her close, but don't let her forget the world," she warned. But it was hard. The village was buzzing more than ever. Rumors danced through the air like dry leaves in Harmattan wind. Some said the child was a spirit. Others said she had no voice. A few claimed they saw her eyes change color when angry. The truth was simpler, but still too strange for the villagers to accept. Then came the Festival of Light, a time when every child wore white and danced in the village square. Chimamanda begged to go. "Just once, Mama. I want to wear white too. I want to dance." Ngozi hesitated. Obinna looked away. "Please," Chimamanda whispered, tears in her eyes. Ngozi finally gave in. "You can go, but you must stay near the edge, and do not change with the other girls. I'll dress you myself." Chimamanda nodded quickly. Her joy was bright, but her smile was small, as if she knew even happiness came with rules. The night of the festival arrived. The sky was full of stars. Drums echoed from the square. Children laughed and danced in white lace and cotton. Chimamanda stood at the edge, in a long white wrapper, her hands tightly at her sides. She smiled, but her eyes searched, not for a friend, for someone who would not look at her like she was strange. And then she saw a boy watching her. He was tall, with a missing front tooth and bright, curious eyes. His name was Ebuka. He walked up and said, "Why don't you dance?" Chimamanda looked at the ground. "I like to watch," Ebuka smiled. "That's boring. Come." He reached for her hand. Ngozi, watching from the side, stood up quickly. But Chimamanda had already smiled and taken Ebuka's hand, and for the first time, she danced. Awkward, slow, but real. The village noticed. Some clapped, others whispered, and far in the back, Mazi Chika looked up at the stars and said, "It has begun." From the night of the Festival of Light, Chimamanda and Ebuka became friends. Every morning, as the sun spread gold over Umuaka, Ebuka would come by with a mango or a carved stick toy, calling, "Chimamanda, let's go look for grasshoppers." Ngozi was nervous, but Obinna said, "Let her be a child, even if for a little while." Chimamanda began to laugh more, smile more. With Ebuka, she forgot her difference. He never asked questions, never stared. He just played. Sometimes they climbed the udala tree near the stream. Chimamanda was always careful not to let her wrapper shift. She knew what she was hiding. One day, Ebuka asked, Why don't you ever swim in the stream with us?" Chimamanda froze. She smiled and said, "I don't like water." Ibuka didn't push. That day, Ngozi watched them from the kitchen window. She saw how Chimamanda laughed freely and something in her heart melted. "She's growing up," Ngozi whispered to Obinna. "Yes," he said. "And one day, we'll need to tell her the truth. All of it." The village's gossip never rested. Some noticed Chimamanda was different. "She always wears double cloth," said one girl. "She doesn't swim. She never bathes in public," added another. They whispered behind hands. Even some elders began to watch her with narrowed eyes. One afternoon, Chimamanda walked past the market. A group of boys pointed. "Look, the spirit child!" Chimamanda ran home, tears stinging her cheeks. Ngozi held her and whispered, "You are not a spirit. You are a blessing." But that day marked a change. Chimamanda began to hide again. She avoided the stream. She stopped dancing. Ibuka noticed. "You're quiet again," he said. Chimamanda looked down. They talked too much. Ibuka frowned. "Let them talk. You're still my friend." She smiled softly, but inside, her heart felt heavy. One evening, Obinna and Ngozi sat by the fire. "She's old enough," Obinna said. "She needs to know who she is." Ngozi was silent. Later that night, Chimamanda woke up to find her parents sitting by the hearth. "Come, sit," Obinna said. They told her the truth, how she was born with both male and female parts, how they had kept it a secret to protect her. Chimamanda's hands shook. "What does that mean?" "It means you are different, but not broken," Ngozi said, holding her tightly. "But the village, what will they say?" The village held a cleansing festival. Every child had to bathe in the stream. Chimamanda begged not to go. "You must," said the elder, "or people will talk more." She stood at the stream in her long wrapper. The other girls laughed and played. Chimamanda slipped behind a tree, but her cloth snagged on a branch. In that one moment, a girl saw something. She screamed, "Chimamanda is a boy and a girl!" The crowd grew quiet. Children ran to call their mothers. The whispers turned into screams, then silence. Chimamanda stood frozen, her world shattered. That night, the elders gathered. They said Chimamanda brought shame. "She must leave the village," one said. "But she's a child," Ngozi shouted. Obinna pleaded. Mazichika spoke softly. "Fear makes people cruel," she said. But the decision was made. Chimamanda was told to pack. She was given a mat, a pot, and a lantern. "Where will I go?" she asked. "To the edge of the forest," an elder replied. Chimamanda looked around. No one met her eyes, not even Ibuka. Her feet dragged as she walked away from the only home she knew. In the forest, Chimamanda found an old hut made of mud and palm leaves. Birds sang to her. The trees listened. She learned to fetch water, cook simple yam, and survive. Loneliness became her shadow. One evening, Ebuka appeared. He brought Gary and groundnut. He sat beside her in silence. "You didn't say goodbye," she whispered. "I was afraid," he said, "but I never stopped being your friend." That night, they talked until the moon rose. Ebuka left before dawn, but now Chimamanda had something stronger than food: hope. 1 month passed. The village faced drought. No rain, no crops, no laughter. The oracle said, "The gods are angry. Only someone pure and true can call the rain." The elders remembered Chimamanda. Ashamed, they went to her hut. "We need your help." She stared at them. "After you cast me out?" Obinna stepped forward. "We were wrong, but now we need your strength." Chimamanda looked at the sky. "I'll go, not for you, but for the children who still believe in kindness." Chimamanda stood at the sacred rock with palm leaves and white chalk. She prayed, danced, sang. The sky grew dark. Thunder rolled. Then, rain. It poured. Villagers shouted with joy. Children danced. Chimamanda fell to her knees. Something had changed. Her body, whole. The male part, gone. She touched her chest, tears falling. The gods had healed her. She returned to the village, not with fear, but with light. The people bowed, not in shame, but in respect. Many feared Chimamanda not because she was dangerous, but because they didn't understand her. The village cast her out, but she became their salvation. Chimamanda's strength came from within, and the gods saw that clearly. I hope the story was enjoyable to you. If so, do give the video a like. Tell your loved ones and friends about it. Don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell for more captivating stories like this one. Goodbye.